And we're back.
Hello,
Ahoy,
hello.
hoy.
Hello.
We return.
How's our audio?
I will.
I see lines doing line
will-
things.
I might
Yep.
be experiencing lag. Has anyone
Ooh.
else?
I was with Alina,
Oh, really?
but
Mm.
and the video.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Are we a
But
little
the
behind?
videos. No, just on Twitch we were, but
Oh, okay.
for the audio on Discord it was just you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm still getting
A little lag?
glitchy Alina.
Let me
Yeah.
check. Here.
I have put in "is the stream lagging" in the chat to see if anyone has anything to say.
It's usually my cable has come unplugged, and that was indeed the case. So hopefully we're cleared up now.
Great.
Do you have like a bad? Is that same issue?
Oh god, the
with
connector
Ethernet?
thing sucks. It has no clips, so it just slides out.
I've got to look into some kind of
Like cord
I had
holder.
the same problem with mine. So we have like a hard line for the main internet because when you're streaming, you want the maximum, and you don't want to be using freaking Wi-Fi.
Especially when you're streaming from 2 different rooms.
But the cords will not stay plugged in, and we will randomly switch to the damn Wi-Fi. All right. Sorry about that, audience. Hopefully, I can see already now the stream's just stopped lagging entirely since you fixed
good. Good.
The plug-in.
Beauty.
Okay.
I fixed it. Just
Yay!
plug it in again.
Can we fix it? No, Trump's president. Anyway. No.
Oh god.
I was going to say earlier, I'll never stop being amused by the little fetid icon you have for when Jeff's away.
Mm-hmm.
That was drawn back when Jeff had ear surgery, so it's got the little.
Oh,
he's got a little owie ear.
A little ouchie.
I love all the different fetids. They're all so cute.
Oh, we're lagging again. Do you want to double check that it's still plugged in? No, like the whole stream seems to be lagging. Maybe that's just for me. I don't know.
Nope. Still plugged in.
As long as it's still plugged in.
I jiggled the cable, so let's see if that helps.
I mean, it all went super clear when it was like really low quality and laggy. So maybe that's it. We need to I don't want to replace those great big long cables.
I know, they're so big.
It's just a terrible clip. There's got to be some way to get a little thing that connects to the side of your computer and holds the damn
folds it in place.
Or some kind of adapter that
a bra. It needs
finds
a bra.
on.
Yes.
I'll look it up later. I bet you I can find some kind of adapter. So before the break, you guys were about to take a long rest with the plan that the following morning, Tromlin and Lucretia were going to prepare a whole lot of sending spells so that you could begin reaching out to various people. So let's begin with the morning. Tromlin, I assume you're going to roll again, or do you want to stick with Gad for a while?
I'll roll again. I want to be consistent.
Sounds good. Give me that sweet D30.
If I could find my actual D30, I'd be so happy. My kid stole all my dice. 19.
Oh, no. 19.
Pico kept throwing my dice off the desk, so I got my biggest die, which he can't even move.
Nice.
That is a self-defense weapon.
This really is. You would not want this thrown at you.
Do not rage quit your game with that dice.
You have a Dolos. Dolos, the southern god of trickery. The master of guile, deception, craftiness, and treachery. Companion to Sudia, who is the goddess of lies. Worshipped in the principality of Throm. His symbol is a half black, a half face in black, always the left side. and his brother Apate is always the right.
How
Who's
does
a-
my ancestor feel about when she sees me pull up this little roulette wheel to see who I worship for the day?
Will you be surprised to learn that she raises her eyebrows?
What?
It seems to be her thing.
When I attempt an insight to understand, like a la Rogue's
Sure,
can't.
What's this
sure.
eyebrow mean?
You specifically are an expert in these kind of language
true.
interpretations.
Okay. Give me a good roll, please. That's all I want. I really kind of want to know what's going on here.
I'm not even gonna roll against you because it's not like a deception thing. She's not trying to hide her expression. She's specifically doing like an eyebrow thing.
Do you want the most wasted natural 20?
Oh, sweet. Well, I'll see how much I can give you. She clearly recognizes many of the gods on your keychain as you go cycling through on the charm bracelet looking for the one that you're or randomly close. Like, it's really obvious what you're doing to someone who has the right knowledge of the arcane, that you're closing your eyes and picking at random as you go through. And but she, of course, seeing the keychain, it's obvious that she knows a lot of, at least a significant number of those gods, and they are all gods of luck and fortune and trickery.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives her a pretty strong clue as to sort of your MO.
I ain't
But
really
yeah,
hiding it.
she, you know what she might do, in fact, seeing that you're landing on Dolos the Deceiver. I'm just gonna have a look here and see if there's something she might try to like guide you towards.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
Something that might be more.
She
relevant.
silvery barbs my roll.
Wow.
I was thinking like straight up mage hand. But I actually have a better idea. I'm going to check that. So you're going through and you haven't even noticed yet that you're going to land on Dolos.
Mm-hmm.
But your hand kind of slips and you go whoop, and then I mean, you're still just grabbing randomly. You grab a different one, but you actually end up, when you open your eyes and look down, with Kutka, the Raven God.
Ooh.
So you land on Kutka, Raven God of the North, worshipped by the Raven folk, said to have created himself from an old fur coat, and was the first to give humanoids fire, light, fresh water, and net weaving. Fairly thieving, selfish, wily. Symbol is a raven's wing. But yeah, you're not 100% sure what influenced that, but there's a number of options.
Yeah.
But she will look down, and with your insight, you will notice her kind of take note of that, be looking, raise an eyebrow at you, and kind of give a somewhat meaningful glance at your raven tattoo. And then she just sort of goes,
I will flat out tell her, like, I didn't have a choice in that. Well, I did. The other choice was death.
I see.
Yes, the made contact with me and gave me options.
Does like a non-committal nod, like as though to say no judgment. It's,
Well, I say, well, there's no judgment. I guess I should also tell you that I have children, so you have descendants who may be related to Loth.
she'll raise an eyebrow again, in interest, but basically she'll say, I have a lot of relatives.
Morgan.
Yeah, so these are my half spider children.
Morgan chokes on her drink.
Um, yeah. She'll just sort of solemnly say, well, runs in the family.
To know.
And carry on looking up spells in her books to prepare for sendings.
I will ask her at some point, would you like me to make something for you to eat while we're working?
I mean, she before you even start the preparation. I guess no, you probably because she's preparing while you're praying. Um, she'll say, uh, "Let us all repair to the hall. This promises to be uh, hungry work today." And she'll sweep out of the room with like the wave of voluminous fabric uh, as her hair floating and just generally ethereally moving through this space as she does.
Oogna pops in the door and is like, "Did someone say breakfast?"
I have to do some stuff, but I'll try to make some for you later. Otherwise, you can have whatever the cook is putting together.
Oh,
Well, were you just if
okay.
you were just offering to cook, like she's basically saying, let's all head to the
Oh,
dining
she is? Okay, I misunderstood. Then yes, I'm going to go make breakfast.
because like you can so like she'll sort of get everybody going into the great hall to eat.
Yeah. So we will gather.
And you can head into the kitchen and sort of elbow the weird ogre abomination thing chef out of the way and sort of take charge of what's going in the pot. He was just gonna like clearly he was about to like just boil a big cauldron of gruel, as seems to be his standard.
Very
Just
gruel-centric kitchen.
I feel I don't know I vaguely get like even though I didn't make her anything specific, I feel I get Scottish vibes for every time I'm thinking of Lucretia on the moors with her
I
redheaded
was
witchcraft.
also picturing like Scottish princess.
Yeah, so there's like it's just like oats is just the standard. There's basically nothing in this kitchen except for giant sacks of oats and barley.
Well, the good news is I have a bottomless pouch of spices,
Oh, good. We will need them.
so
You can make
I
haggis.
can make jacks for everybody. I can make like a nice ginger tea for the morning.
Oatcakes. Mm-hmm.
Ginger tea, the best.
Come on,
Mhm.
haggis. Fried
Oh.
haggis for breakfast is an amazing.
I just started
Scottish
my
tradition.
little witchy era, and the other day made like a fresh pot of tea with like freshly cut ginger,
Ooh.
a thing of turmeric, star anise, some black peppercorn, and a whole cinnamon stick. I felt very witchy.
Nice.
It was very fun.
That's basically turmeric chai.
Hmm
You've
Nice.
got all this you've got all this like remnants from like the black pudding, so you could make a black pudding.
Is there
Some
anyone
broth.
who works in the estate that I can send to like buy something from the market?
Oh yeah, I mean if you kind of like poking around and like you sort of at one point are like, oh, I wish I could have, and you name an ingredient, and Cuttle Spoon will like crawl out of a cabinet, uh, the little hunchbacked halfling sized uh, what or no, it's not even hunchbacked. I think I described the little one as kind of being like Peter Lorre, and the tall hunchback one is basically being I forget the character's name from Rocky Horror, but that guy.
Oh, riffraff.
Riffraff. Thank you. I was like our name. So yeah, the Cuttle Spoon's the little Peter Lorre one, and he kind of like creeps out of a cabinet and goes, yes, I can get whatever you need from the markets.
Can you get me a pig?
Yes, a normal pig, or some kind of Abomination pig.
Normal, please.
Oh, okay.
We're eating it. We're not going to celebrate it. So
Morgan's
Yes,
tapping her little hooves.
He
So
goes
excited.
back into the cabinetry and returns a short while later, holding like a live squealing pig, which he'll bring in. He's like,
all right.
"You need to strap
I
it
will
to
take
this.
it to
Your
I assume they have like a
table's
meat shed or something. Slit its
Yeah.
throat and start gutting it. Actually, I'll have the other
Put
cook
it down.
help me butcher it.
Oh yeah. He in fact, if you don't say anything, the ogre thing will probably like go and grab it and start.
Just a
butchering it.
giant rusty
Um,
cleaver. Chonk. Chonk.
I will
Yeah.
collect some of the entrails as well as the tongue and the eyes for
Like
Barb.
blood even. But you literally have oats and barley if you want to make a blood sausage.
Morgan
And,
watches some of it out of curiosity, just because she's never seen it before.
So basically, I put together a nice, a horrible show for our dear satyr to watch.
you've definitely seen the butchering of game as a young.
True. That's
Well,
true.
really.
Barbarian. You've seen more
She-
worse.
No, she would be like, "Hey, I'm not having any of that. I use my witchy powers. Goodbye."
Mm.
Like the first
That's
time
fine.
she's exposed to it, she's like, "How about not? How about I'm not over there doing that?"
Well, I still offer.
I'll be over here beating.
Well, do you want some tea?
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I want some tea.
Oh, I'll bring you some tea in a second. And then I just present everyone with basic flapjacks, sausage, hand steak,
Fresh
and
made
Barb
sausage.
gets like tongue, eyes, and some of the entrails.
Yep.
Cromlin, have I said lately that you're my favorite person in the entire world?
Thank you.
This is so good.
I make sure we're all fed. Make sure tea for everyone, including
Yep.
Our hostess.
Oh yeah, and like Sextus is still sitting at the head of the table as he always is every morning, and no one's really sure if he even leaves over the night.
I will offer him like, do you want some of this?
If you put like he'll turn down any food, but if you put tea in front of him, he'll sort of like hold it up and smell it, and not. It's like the robots in Jeff's comic. They want to smell the tea, but they can't drink it.
Oh, I will ask him, is there a particular tea he would like to smell?
He'll actually, if you have like, he'll like request something that like bizarre, but it's like herb mix. That like the kind of herbs that you stuff in a mummy.
Embalming.
But like
Yeah.
but like with the water, he'll basically like say this kind of tea, but no water.
That's fine. I will go make a small pouch of it and bring it over for him to enjoy.
Forget what spices
Frankincense?
they used to. There's a bunch of
Myrrh?
spices
Yeah.
that they used to put inside.
Mummies.
That not the embalming materials. God,
Hey,
this keeps
I'm trying to serve everyone, including the undead.
Mm-hmm.
Dedicated
cumin
to
and
craft.
anise, apparently.
Committed to the game.
Really?
Just looked it
That
up.
smells pretty nice, actually.
Cinnamon, cassia, cumin, anise, and myrrh.
Yeah, I would have all of that.
Yep, are the standards. So he asks for like a mixture of that, but hold the water.
Okay, I'll make a little baggie of it for him to enjoy and smell.
Yeah.
Like wrap some cheesecloth.
Well, he'll actually eat it because he's basically just restuffing. He's just sort of like tucking
That's
it
fine.
Things have settled.
something under his sleeve. Just sort of.
Oh my god, he probably has like
more.
he probably has mummification tools as his like self-care tools.
Mm-hmm.
In his personal bathroom.
Yeah.
One of these long hooks for pulling the brains out the nose. Yep. Just in case they grow back.
If he had a loot inventory, that would be his like self-care bag, like away bag for like his little
Embalming kit.
potions, embalming tools, yeah.
And
Extra wrapping.
cousin Carax will coalesce out of the shadows again and sit at one side of the table. The Baron isn't here this morning because he didn't stay the night because he's out working the city. So it's just family, quote unquote.
Aw, family breakfast.
Just you guys and the various sunshines and the servants and ghosts and other things and creatures that dwell
Mor-
here.
Morgan's gonna sit next to Perny at breakfast with his pretend plate, and will at one point lean over and be like, "Hey, could I get a Christmas card?"
Oh, of course you can. I will add you to the list. um, I will certainly send one. Yeah. How are you holding up here? I know that we don't have all of the comforts that you might want, and creepy, gross ghosts sometimes shove their heads through a wall. But are you enjoying your stay so far?
Yeah, just takes a little getting used to being in a different place, but it's really, 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 really nice to have a bed. Um, I, it's a silly thing, I know, but I was wondering if there'd be a way that we could find a way to like stuff a whole bed into the bag of holding. I don't know
Mm,
how we could do that,
I
but
Give,
like,
Peter, give
A
me
cot
an Arcana check.
or a hammock?
yeah, maybe like we could get some hammocks going.
26.
That's an excellent
That's very
Arcana
good.
check. So you know of there's a specific magic item that in fact I think we might have said that Sir Godfrey had one.
Oh yeah, we did.
It's like a simple tent that you set up, but then inside it's like a bag of holding. It's an extra dimensional space. It's a bigger than normal space.
Like fancy
Because
beds.
I'm
yeah,
going to be sending Sir Godfrey a missive to ask him to join us. And he's more likely to do so if I place a purchase order at the same time. Um, it's been some time since I've returned home. I haven't been to my bank in a very long time. I'll bet you there's been some interest accrued. It would be my pleasure to make sure that you have a traveling bed.
Oh wow, that's really cool. That'd be amazing. And yeah,
Uh,
Morgan, like the moment she had had a bath from before was like a full-on cartoon transformation of like SpongeBob dried up, makeup smeared, hair greasy, and then just like whoop, transformed much better. All she needed was the bath. Yeah.
I'm glad you've been able to embrace those comforts. Let me know if you have any preferences. Soft, medium, firm mattress, side sleeper, stomach sleeper, mixed portfolio. Do you want spring coils? They have this thing. They do
I
all natural latex now.
I like the foam beanbag situation. I find that's like my favorite type of bed. You
Amazing.
know.
I'll send that along with the notes for the order.
Yeah, they have some that are made out of like that one type of jelly. They treat it somehow like people treat tofu, and then it becomes this really cool like gelatinous but like foamy texture for beds. It's really expensive, but it's pretty cool.
All right. I'll see if they have that. I'll make sure it's not one of those manufacturers that cuts the special material with sentient goo from an extraplanar creature that splattered on a dock, and they just kind of stuff some of that in so they don't have to use as much of the expensive stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Did I hear Oogna's like got like half a rasher of bacon in her mouth? She's like, Godfrey's coming here?
We're gonna send him an invitation. We'll see if he'll drop by.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I gotta polish up my patches. There's like egg dripping down one of Oogna's. Sir Godfrey's oddly wobbly tchotchke's shop.
That's pretty
Logos.
good.
Yeah.
there's a significant number of the random extraneous words in that phrase. Yeah.
I remembered 3 of them.
Um, Yeah, while we have some downtime, why don't we like take care of our gear extra? I'll help people do some polishing, put some like good luck charms on things. I think that'd be great.
So, what's the order of events in terms of who are you looking to contact here first?
So I think Albania is probably most important of the list. And I would say that probably Darn Garveldo or the Maestro would probably be the next most important.
So, sorry, who was the first?
I think Albania is probably the most important.
Okay. So let's start with that then. So
Yeah.
so you're sending word to Albania.
Yeah.
And so when you're ready, so after the breakfast is done, Lucretia stands and brushes her hands and says, "Shall we get started?"
Yeah, I
And then
believe so.
sweeps out of the room in like a impossible amount of fabric that and then goes to meet you all in the library in the study, which is that front part of the library.
Fancy.
And when you get there, the room has been rearranged, and you will find that there is a pedestal set up in the center of a circle of symbols, magic symbols have been placed down, and you will, which just looks to be a bit of ritual magic. But as she pulls the velvet off of the pedestal, you see a crystal ball, and she will begin to wave her hands over the crystal ball, and she says, "Albania Sunshine," almost under her breath, like she's just considering it. But when she does so, you will see in the crystal ball the image of Albania Sunshine sitting at a desk, a huge wooden desk with stacks and stacks of books and papers. She's got her nose almost buried, literally, in a large book with her huge, giant bottle glasses and
Mor-
her frizzy fright wig in all directions, filling up most of the view.
Morgan is all up in there. Like normally, like you're like, ooh, I'll stand like a few space, like 5 or 6 feet away while looking at the thing from a distance. She is like up, like looking into the orb. That's some cool shit.
And she will say, "What is your message?" I keep
Um,
wanting to make her like have an accent now, just because I said the thing before. I want to
yeah,
do Scottish or Irish accent, and I'm like, no, I
yeah.
didn't do that.
My daughter came out Scottish. We don't know why. But
Just spent a
I
lot
want
of
to feel
time
Irish
there.
for some reason, but whichever.
um, and Albania is my niece, correct?
I believe that's what we said, but
Yeah,
again, the actual connections are much more torturous.
yeah.
I'm kind
I
of
think
starting to think that Lucretia maybe had like a child or an offspring that like spawned tons, or that she like has a number of like monstrous creations that like spawned whole branches of the family. I don't know,
right,
or a combination thereout. Because there's got to
right.
be a point where it really expanded outwards, and I can't see
Yeah.
that being Lucretia herself.
I
If
mean,
she has actual children, it's like a small number.
well, they wouldn't all be direct descendants if Sheki got around, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
well, there's that as well, right?
yeah.
Well, and then there's like
Um,
relations, like Sextus, who's like, is his relation because he's just another mummy made by, is he a mummy created by Barb with necromancy, and that's why he's
yeah.
your your half son?
Found family. Literally, we
I don't know.
found him laying around and
Yeah,
reanimated him.
yeah,
um,
it's
yeah.
not, it's very complicated.
So to Albania, I will say, dearest niece, terrible things are at work in the world. I'm calling. I, Copernicus Sunshine, and my daughter Lucretia are calling, and allies at all. Do I have a limit of 25 words? Oh shit! I think I used it all up.
You're pretty close to 25 already.
Lucretia,
20
start it
or
again.
25?
Start it again.
Hang on. Well, she hasn't cast the spell yet. She just asked you what your message was. So you start panicking because of like you're used to doing
Yeah.
this with Dango, and she just starts like going.
Oh, thank Gad. Thank Gad. I'm glad that didn't count. Okay, hold on. I'll write it down.
Try again.
Yes. Dearest
She
cousin,
just like wordlessly hands you a parchment and quill.
a council of world-saving importance is to be held in 2 days' time at um, the Sunshine Home in Morwindle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friendly Sunshine Manor. I keep thinking of it
Yeah.
like it's a resort.
Your presence is requested, and it will be more than just Sunshine's present. We are trying to rally forces from across the realm. I think that's 25 words.
And Lucretia will look it over and she'll say, we'll assume that it's either you have the paper and pen to massage it to 25 words. But Lucretia looks it over and kind of frowns and says, how are you expecting her to get here? Are you offering some sort of transport?
I am going to leave
Days.
my teleportation circle open, and I'm sharing the details of it with people. Can I send that via a sending or a message spell?
So she's thinking because you need words, right? So you can't describe the symbols as pretty extensive numbers of words. She says, perhaps we should say that we invite her involvement if possible and ask for a means of travel. Perhaps mention that you have this teleportation circle.
I think that wise, and if she wishes to attend by scrying, that would also be, I think, acceptable. I'd forgotten we have these options today. As I look at the orb,
These
and
kids with their fancy
All this
orbs.
newfangled technology.
I really try not to think about the number of times in my 100 and whatever year absence that she has decided to spy on me and what I may have been doing and with whom in those moments. Just try not to think about it at all. Not gonna ask.
I don't know that I really require an Arcana check, but like you have enough Arcana. I'm just gonna say, like you would know to some degree how this works. Scrying is a thing that gets a saving throw, but the difficulty of that saving throw varies a great deal. So having this crystal ball probably does mean that Lucretia can scry on you whenever she wants, because some of the things that make it easier are having personally met the person. If you haven't personally met the person, it actually gets quite difficult because there are bonuses to the saving throw. But the big thing that makes a penalty to the saving throw is having personal effects. And she lives in your house. So there is probably something in the neighborhood of like a -15 or -10 at least to save against any attempt to scry on you that would be done. But that to say nothing of the blood connection, right? Like, so she would be able to scry on you quite easily, potentially. But that doesn't extend to like, hey, we should just use this to check in on anybody, because obviously if it's someone she's never met, so she has met Albina Sunshine before, which makes it a little bit more plausible to scry in this particular case. And then that's to say nothing of potential warding.
Right.
Although I can't remember if warding versus scrying is an easy or trivial thing, or
I think non-detection is the real sweet one for that.
but that's like a big one, right? Like that's non-detection is not a not a like that's a spell that you can put on yourself for like for 8 hours. Like you cast it and then it lasts for 8 hours, and there's no like ritual version of that. So like that's basically like a constantly using a third level spell slot
Right.
situation. Having like a
Morgan's sharing croissants in the background while you guys are discussing what the message should be. It's like, this one's got kiwi in it if you want.
Ooh. Let's see. Well, yeah. Any amendments that she wants to make to invite travel or to like I don't know what the magical equivalent of scrying in is, but if there is a way to do like a mutual scrying so we can all hear and see each other or something, we can invent the first telecoms link.
yeah, and see what happens, right?
Oh
You-
no,
You're
we've
kind of like
made
kicking
Zoom.
yourself in the- if only
Yeah.
you had gotten we need to invent Zoom. If only you had gotten her to sign your book, you'd be able to
Yeah.
send messages, which you never did.
Or I think I have a
So
limit of 5 people.
you craft this missive and you send it, and the on the image in the crystal ball, you can see Albinia's head kind of shoot up as she like looks around, suddenly hearing, adjust her glasses, looking around for whoever's talking, and then she kind of obviously realizes what she's hearing, and she will respond and say, I didn't catch all that, but give me a moment. I'll be right with you. And then the scrying, you watch as she gets up from the desk. The camera kind of pans out because now she's not crowded in by the books, and you can see that she's in a huge study, one of the rooms that from the school of wizardry, and she goes across the room to a pedestal holding a crystal ball of her own, and you're utterly unsurprised that there's such a thing at the wizardry school. But she probably goes into another room. Like there's probably she doesn't happen to be in the room that it's in. She goes into the antechamber that's contained in, and she goes and she pulls it off, and she does a bunch of magical chanting to activate the device. And she will. I'm pretty sure you can throw the saving throw.
Yeah.
So Lucretia is going to just allow it because it was Lucretia's voice that she would have heard.
Right.
And or I guess you said in the message Copernicus, but like if you say Copernicus Sunshine, like you can throw. I'm assuming you're going to throw the saving throw.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see through the crystal ball's image of the other crystal ball, the room you are in. But you also hear Albinia's voice in your head. And she then says, using her crystal ball, which is a crystal of telepathy, and then she then says into all of your minds, you can all hear her speak as she says, there we are, dearie. Now, you were saying something about the end of the world or some sort of important council to stop the end of the world.
Yes, exactly right. In 2 days' time, here at Sunshine Manor, we'll be hosting the allies of my traveling companions, myself and Lucretia, to compare the various things we've been seeing in our areas, and to perhaps rally our forces against what I believe to be a dark conspiracy spanning the entire world, likely all connected to the Necrogog. And I turn to look at Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan is thaumaturging. Her face is glued to the orb to like spy the people spying each other and looking behind
shiny.
and then wiggling her ass at the camera.
Amazing. Oogna like elbows Tromlin really quietly and like stage whispers is like, "Hey Tromlin, I got voices in my head. Is that normal?"
It is right now, yes.
Okay, cool. And then just goes back to ignoring the conversation.
I was
slapping
laugh.
the ball
I
because
was
she's got
having.
somebody's ass in it and she thinks she's got the wrong channel.
I was giggling to myself so hard over here because all I could imagine was her like getting the spell ready, and then going, "Oh, hold on a second, darling," and then going and getting a really rugged, chewed up charging cable to go from one rune that is like basically a portable charger to the orb.
Yeah.
No, when the orb started up, it like blue screen of death, and she had to restart it and this whole thing.
I don't know why, but I imagine she has like 10 cats and they just keep walking in front of the orb. Just like shove them out of the
Yeah.
way.
I think we're on like,
they're,
you know,
they're all
we've seen
over
our-
the library. They're just
we've seen
there.
our 5th cat butthole already of this call.
Yeah.
And 1 satyr
Um,
butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you mention you're in Morwindle, so she say, Morwindle is a mighty long trip for 2 days. I'm a little old to be running around on a broom that long. Do you have any sort of is there a teleportation circle, something that we could use to? Oh, good. Give me a oh, you unfold it and show it right then and there.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, excellent, excellent. Give me a moment. And she pulls out like a massive quill that's like as tall as she is, like some
More-
ostrich feather, and a book, and starts scribbling down, drawing the symbols from your teleportation circle. And she says, we have a circle here at the school. I can use it to come and see you in 2 days. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Is that
Or-
how does that work? Do you have to set it on the ground?
Yes, there are certain rules to how stable it has to be for it to be accessed by others, but as long as I leave it open, everyone should be able to step through. Which I
Excellent.
think they will.
Well, I'm much to let you know about the plague here. Within the city, it is well under control now, thanks to your friend. Professor Schnorp has been hard at work making as much of the potion as we can, and we've made a student project of it. All of the students in the senior potions class have now been tasked with producing in large quantities as part of their senior assessments.
Good old
It's
child
been
labor.
quite
Perfect.
successful.
Morgan's
Well,
been photobombing this whole time, making it look like Perny has like fawn ears with her hands behind his head, giving him
Um,
little wings,
and the
making
the
it look like
council
Oogna has a huge head, just like using,
is
Amazing.
using some illusion.
yeah,
some
using
illusion stuff.
You've got all the
using
filters on.
Yeah, she put like ridiculous filters so everyone looks like they are
Raw cats.
yeah,
I'm-
we're all fetid size.
I'm torn between having her like go, oh no, something's wrong with the crystal ball. Give me a minute, and being just like, I'm talking to another sunshine at their house. It's full of weird shit. What's ghosts are doing weird shit. That's just how it always is. She will also say, the council has been cooperating with us. I think that you got through to them when you were here before that this is a danger to the entire city. We've been working to keep the catacombs free, since there are many ways into the city through them. But now there are some significant magical defenses beneath the city, and we have kept out any incursions. It's a little bit worse, however, in the wildlands. A lot more of the undead have been massing in the broken lands. But worse, there is movement of a veritable army of undead horsemen that have been coming from the plains to the west. I think that wherever this necromancer operates from, he has clearly been very busy to the west. I fear that he has laid claim to the whole of the Sea of Grass. There are these ghoul-like and zombie-like creatures, but they're all centaurs in their kin. I've
I
heard.
guess we'll have to go beat some dead horses.
I'm a half horse.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
You keep me around for the jokes.
I did not. I swear I didn't plan that recently either, and that half horse, half man song has been stuck in my head as I've been writing up the stuff for the
So
game.
good.
But the centaurs of the Sea of Grass have been a thing for a lot longer than that song has been out. So, in any case, she'll also say, while the city is safe from infection, we may soon find ourselves besieged. The word is that army is sweeping to the east. And when it arrives here, I do not know if they will besiege Dwimmerdell or move on to the Great Road and assail the rest of the Northlands. Or if the army is as big as they say, both. I do know that there is tell that our attempts to spread the potion to the wildwoods has met with some success. There was an inventor, a turtle man, with a great air balloon who has been working with your cousin.
Wonderful. This is the Crimson Paradigm, I believe.
Yes, something like that. Yes, I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
so.
His name, Man?
Yes, well, no, I think he calls himself a man. I don't know. In any case, they've rigged some sort of spraying thing to his ship, and this has been successful at keeping the spread of fungus from leaving the wildwood. But in the depths of the forests, there are still undead things. We've been hearing word that the elves who've shut their strongholds against it are less hard pressed. But there's really no word coming in or out, so we can't tell. I would suspect that there are still many terrible undead beasts in the woods, but at least they are not spreading through the rest of the north. And that is about all I have to say. All I have to report about that. We've the production of the potion is significant. We've been able to cultivate the ingredients. Your friend has been staying for some time in the sewers here in the catacombs, helping the local underfolk. You'll remember that quaggles aren't really called quaggles in Dwimmerdell because there's not really a lot of difference. When everybody's got a lot of magic,
Or they're
there's
more
not really...
respectful.
Maybe.
Or maybe they're just more respectful.
We wish, but honestly, it's just more about like it's classism, man. It all comes down to class awareness. When everybody's got access to the magic, then the people living in the catacombs aren't the poor people, right? They're just people. But anyway, she tells you that your friend has been helping them grow things underground, and you're like, oh yeah, it's that whole thing that Glorpa did in Ravenfall with the Quaggles there, where
Right.
they made it like possible to support
In the
themselves
in the trash
sewer.
heap.
Yeah. but they've been using that to cultivate ingredients for the potions. Meaning that they've been able to the major limiting factor, as you know, from any potion creation is the recipe. And if it's like you need 3 eyes from the snake head of a chimera, so is not that's not an ingredient that you can just go to the shops and buy. But they've been mass cultivating ingredients, allowing them to mass produce the potion. So they actually have a pretty huge ability to make very, very large quantities. The main issue is distribution, right? So obviously in Dwimmerdell, no problems. They've completely stopped the spread of the fungus. Out in the Wildwoods, where it's more like, how do you hey, there's an infected owlbear. Mr. Owlbear, please drink this potion. Is more of a challenge. But the spreading has been pretty well controlled. And she'll tell you, we sent quite a bit of potion to the city of Aldercove as well, since they were
good.
under some difficulty. But I will definitely be there. I will come to your. Should I bring any representatives from the council?
I think it would be wise. What I will say is, if you need to lure them there in the hopes of gaining allies for the coming siege, I don't know who here will have the strength to lend support, but at the very least, it might interest a member of the council into coming to something they might not otherwise come to. But we'll be trying to bring together delegates from, and I'll list some of the other delegates that we're going to be, like the dwarves and whatnot, so that she's aware that, of the scope of this. I think if you
Give me
can
a
bring
sec
someone from
with
the
my
council,
sound here.
them. It's not audible at the moment.
No.
Got nothing. Still nothing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
You're back.
There, now I can hear you. Stupid Discord. Anyway, I just had that thing where my two earpieces went out of sync, and I was like,
Oh,
nope.
yeah.
Yeah. But because I turned it off and on again, Discord went, "Boo, let's randomly choose the mouse is the microphone now. Boo." That obnoxious thing that Discord does every time. So she goes, "I'll be there. Very well. I'll talk to the council and see what delegates they can send. Farewell."
Very well, cousin.
She'll end her scrying, and Lucretia will end hers as well, and everything ends.
When that stops, Morgan's still standing there with a minor illusion that she didn't dispel in time, so she has like a panda head. For a second.
But pseudo glitchy, like if you turn your head, it disappears for a second.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
They're not
it's a
perfect.
filter.
Yeah.
This is some good filters. I gotta figure out how to get that on my. I gotta get a stone, and then I gotta figure out how to get it on my stone.
It sounds
Good
like things are better there, but still bad.
Yeah, I'd say different worse.
Yeah.
But it certainly lends credence to our theory that the Necrogog is continuing to move in those locations. It's good to know. And we saw in Whipper's vision an army amassing, an army of the dead.
So while all this preparation was going on to do the sending with Lucretia, that still left a few of the others to your own devices. Oogna, I know you're trying to figure out what you can about runes.
I'm sure attempting.
I'm gonna get you to make me a roll.
I'm gonna roll my -1 to anything intellect. And I don't know if it's Arcana or History, just raw intellect.
I mean, history is
what you looking
yeah.
at, Oogna?
Where are you?
Give me a second here.
Well, this is
What's-
while
what-
you guys are
Oh!
occupied with the sending.
I rolled a 19, so that's 18. I might actually learn something. Oogna's got like this intensely like she's like concentrating harder on this page than she has
There's
ever
like
concentrated in
steam
her
coming
life.
out of your ears.
Yeah.
Morgan wants to give a guidance, so she'll be like, "Oh, what are you looking at?"
Yeah, breaking
This
20.
isn't something you can really guidance because this is something that's going on over a period of time, and guidance is like a one-off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
Literally
guidance is a thing that you
steam
go,
coming out of it.
I believe in you while you're trying this thing that you're trying, and then that
Yeah.
next roll gets the bonus, right? This is like an extended thing that Oogna is kind of working on. So while Morgan and Copernicus and Lucretia are putting together this sending and then doing the scrying, and then the whole thing is going on in the study, Oogna, you're in the next room, like you can see them through the doorway as you're looking through some of these books. Now, Copernicus, I'm assuming that you're making access to the stuff you have from the dwarf library as well, right?
Yeah.
You're not, that isn't
Yeah.
all hidden away. It's part of what's available here. So that's where you're going to be looking, Oogna, when
Yeah.
you start to dig your way through looking for rune stuff.
Yeah, it's like a student the last week of finals. I've got like 5 books in front of me. I've got my hand resting on my forehead. I'm sweating profusely. There's like 10 coffee cups. I look up when you come in, Morgan, and I'm like, this is the hardest battle I've ever fought. And then I just go back to like staring at the pages.
She's
So
gonna
as-
give you a guidance anyways. Just to,
Good
she,
job.
wants to be able to help you and be like, yeah,
Do it.
you get that
I'll
thing.
let you have the +1d4. Go ahead
It
and add
smells
D4.
like a locker room in there.
You're just sweating.
She's just all about these croissants right now.
I got
these ones
2,
have like
so I like
coconut cream.
So you
I
hit 20.
just
That's a
just
dirty
scooched
20.
my way over to 20.
A dirty 20. One away from the best, like one away from the best thing you can possibly roll.
No, absolutely. I
but
rolled a 19.
better
This is
than
actually
you can possibly
Better
roll
than possibly doing
without-
on
Yeah.
her own.
without help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To me, the obvious thing to do here, if you're not you're not an expert, you have no training in
No,
Arcana,
0.
but you have a sword covered in runes, and you can look for those runes.
I've got like a coloring sheet that I've copied all the runes onto. Like a
Yeah.
cheat sheet, and I'm looking back and forth between them.
It's a
There's so many
napkin.
broken crayons scattered
Oh
around
god,
the table.
yes. Yeah. I've got like 5 of them shoved in my hair.
So 2 things that you'll manage to get through this period. One is that you do in fact find a big section in one of the books that specifically seems to be dealing a whole lot with the central runes that are on the broken section that has been repaired with blood magic. And you don't remember, Perny had some list of what each of the runes
I
means.
do not remember.
Yeah, it out of character, but because it'll be
Yeah,
relevant to
yeah.
others, it's the fate, the
Yes,
runes about
yeah.
fate and doom. And so you find the section in one of these books that's pertinent to that part of what's on the sword.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with it, but you're like, this chapter seems to
Seems
very
important.
specifically be about this rune seems important, and this is the section of the book that's
Look,
important too.
Oogna has figured out that it's the biggest rune. She's found it in the book. And
Yeah,
she
like-
knows it means fate or something. That's really good. That's a 19 for Oogna.
Yeah.
Solid.
That's
But in addition to that, you
yeah.
find a slip of parchment tucked within the book that you may not have realized about, but was found, but Perny put in here when it was given to him by Fetid. And that particular one, when you open it, you it has a bunch of specific runes on it, but one major rune that is kind of the focus of what's in here. And you realize that this seems to be at least related to the rune that you found before, back when you guys were getting stuff out of the lair of the frostworm.
Yeah, there was a
You
rune in there.
found a sheet with a single rune on it that when you struck that rune with your hammer, transferred the rune onto the hammer and made it into
A
the
thunder
rune
hammer.
magic.
Yeah.
This parchment has a similar rune, but then there's also a whole bunch of like magic-y symbols you don't recognize. And you think that there is a spell of some kind here that would do the same trick to some other
Okay.
thing.
Before I ask for
Weapon
help,
or whatever.
I'm going to take a blank sheet of paper and a crayon, and I'm going to try to copy the
The rune.
rune, and then I'm going to hit it with my hammer.
Yep. It doesn't do anything.
No.
Because just copying runes with a crayon is not... If all you had to do to reproduce Dwarven rune magic was to copy out the symbols with a crayon, then it wouldn't have been lost.
I break a side table in the process.
Yep. Now, meanwhile, the other person who kind of has access to the library while the rest of you are busy with this stuff is Tromlin. So Tromlin, while this is all going on and Oogna is racking her brains over these rune books, and the others are doing this sending with Albania Sunshine, do you want to poke your nose into any of these books out here?
You know, I probably should. I mean, I have access to them for once.
And you do have a kind of a secret quest.
Well, if you look at this Lord Cash
Secret
thing.
quest.
So,
or I guess I could look into the thing that the Queen wanted me to work on.
So, do you? I don't know if you have any notes about that, or if you want me to remind you about it. But I can.
You're to remind me. I'm sorry, I can't find my notes right now.
No worries. I just have to find. I switched adventure documents, so I got to find the right one. There it is. Just in case you guys are curious, we are now on the adventure number 7 document, and there are everything from about 12 to 15 parts per adventure document. But now that you have taken out that big slime monster, I'm considering this a rollover to the next adventure. So you here is the specific thing that she said to you. I desire the clue, that which was once mine and must be again, stolen an age and an age ago by the trickster Kumalisa. It was dropped into the bottomless wells and lost forever. But forever has come. The clue is in the world again and must be mine. Kashe has it, and will guard it against theft. You must collect it for me, little thief, and you must not speak of this task, lest Kashe become aware of you, for with the clue he can see far and wide and know what is hidden. Only here beyond the veil can we speak of such things.
I don't suppose there's any ghosts who work in the library.
If there are, you can see them because you have the golden boot. So if you want to do something without the ghost seeing, you can wait until they aren't around. Or if you were particularly looking for a ghost to assist
no,
you,
actually, I was hoping there'd be like a ghost helper in the library.
Yep, there is in fact a ghost librarian that drifts around. She looks like a drowned woman, all in white, with straggly hair, and she just kind of like floats staringly through the library. But you will frequently see her like reshelving books and cataloging things as she drifts about.
Okay, I will go towards her, and I will help her reshelve some of the books.
Yep, you'll see her going to a stack on a desk and taking a few at a time and going into the shelves, and you just grab some more of the stack and go and follow after her.
Yeah, basically I'll just carry the stack behind her so she doesn't keep going back and forth.
Yep. and she'll continue what she's doing, but she only comes to the stack in your arms to take additional books.
Okay. And once that's done, I'll say, "May I ask for your help?"
She will whisper in a sort of a moaning voice back to you, and you get the impression you're distinctly have the impression that no one would be able to hear this, including you, if you weren't wearing the boot. And she said, "Yes, how can I help?"
I need information on the following things. And I write down on a piece of paper the name Cachet, Guarding, Bottomless Well, Trickster God. And I hand the note to her.
Do you include the term, the clue?
Clue. Yes, the clue.
Okay.
I also write down a note, I am not allowed to say this out loud.
She will moan sort of non-committally, but kind of nod her head, and begin sort of looking through the stacks. And a short while later, she'll bring you a really old, shabby-looking volume. It looks like a bunch of loose, individual, crackling parchments that have been bound together retroactively into a book with sort of iron bindings.
I thank her. I sit at the closest table so she can monitor me.
Yep. You open up the book and start looking through it. I'll get you to make me an. What did we do an Arcana? I think an Arcana check is relevant, but also just sort of researching a book. I feel like investigation is also relevant. You got the same roll in each, I think. So either way.
Oh, investigation first, or?
Yeah, just go with an investigation.
All right. Almost closed the wrong window. That's bad.
Just disappears.
Well,
We're like, oh no, Randy rolled so bad he vanished.
Let's see here. How well did I roll today? Oh, okay. That is a 22.
I have to go off camera for a second, but I am still here. So first of all, you notice that this is a book of folk tales.
Hmm.
So that's really interesting. It's not like a magic book per se. It's a book of folklore, and so you start going through it, and it's full of these tales of different entities, and you quickly recognize a few things that jump out at you. First of all, you've heard with you're that level of a roll, sort of on the Arcana side. You recognize the name of Baba Yaga, who is a fae of god, basically a fae of great power. And so you're like, okay, some of these are tales of Baba Yaga. You also see a lot of references to to ravens. And you're uncertain, really, with some of these tales, if those are separate entities. And in fact, many of the tales of the Raven Queen and tales of Baba Yaga are similar. But it's that kind of folklore. And as you start searching, you find a couple of tales that refer to, or a specific tale anyway, that refers to the clue, which you would now sort of transliterate CLEW. These, by the way, these are in the languages these are in are archaic. Probably would be
comprehend language. Would that help me?
You very much so, but also you're a linguist, so you've got a really good ability to get through this. So it's kind of archaic versions of Southern and Western languages that are being used to write these tales. Actually, would it be Western or would it be Eastern? I think it would be Eastern. Um, so Eastern and Southern, and um, different tales are written in different languages because this is clearly a collection. Um, and several of them, actually, probably a good chunk of them, are written in these languages, but using characters that you don't know very well, like an alphabet that you don't normally use, um, uh, which I'll get a history roll from you with you as a linguist. Or is there a separate roll for your linguist stuff? Yes, int
I
plus
don't.
professional bonus. Yeah. So you can roll a full. So it's basically history, but with your professional bonus attached. So it's a +4 instead of a +1.
That's better than +1 for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's see here. That would be a 17.
That's pretty solid. So um, you recognize these characters as being similar to characters that are used in the South, particularly in Ibiza, but an older form of them. And you vaguely remember that there was like one of the earliest alphabets used in the realms originates in the islands and peninsula of Throm, um, what is now the free port of Throm, uh, in the Southern Sea. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know if you're going to pull the map up again there, Alina. Yeah, I thought you were.
Already up?
Oh, I didn't put a name for the sea
No,
on there,
there's
but
just a sea there. I thought you said it
I'm
was
just
the
going to
Sea
call it
of Throm?
the Sea of Throm because
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Because you
Um,
said both the island is named Throm, but also like the country that's there.
it's actually
Everything's
the
Throm.
thing that looks like an island is actually connected. It's a peninsula, but there are some islands there as well. Um, so um, so you think that these are just some really really old collected stories that have been sewn together. They're all in different hands, different writing. Um, and one particular story that you find, which is written in Eastern, is the tale of the stealing of the clue, and you would transliterate CLEW, and the story talks about a trickster creature, some sort of what you would think of maybe being a god or godlike, or at least fey, maybe not to the power level of a god, but definitely some kind of powerful fey creature. Um, and you could translate this as just like the trickster, but also you could translate this as where was I on my notes here? As the name Kumalisa, or Kumalis.
Melissa?
Yeah, Kumalis is probably how it would transliterate from these characters. Um, but you remember being told that the clue was stolen ages ago, from the Raven Queen, or from the Fey creature that you associate with the Raven Queen, who has been set you to this task. But the storybook is the story of the trickster fox Kumalis stealing the clue, which in the story is like a giant egg, um, from Baba Yaga, from Baba Yaga's hut. Uh, and it's a story about how the fox tricks Baba Yaga with three tales, which are like riddles, and the third one can't be solved. And as Baba Yaga is trying to figure out the riddle and preoccupied, the fox sneaks into the hut and steals the clue. And in the story, uh, the clue, Baba Yaga realizes what's happened afterwards and is furious and goes chasing after the fox. Um, and the fox is in a little boat crossing a lake. And when Baba Yaga comes swimming out in the lake to try and capture the fox. The fox throws the clue out of the boat to lighten the load, and the clue is lost in the bottomless lake. In the story, it's not very clear what the clue is, but you find some other stories that maybe don't use the term, but talk about Baba Yaga's eye. That Baba Yaga has this one giant eye that she can pull out of her head and leave somewhere, and it can see all, and it can see everything. And the eye, when it's out of her head in the stories, is described as being egg-shaped. And so you could possibly consider the clue as the eye of Baba Yaga as a thing. So that's what you found so far. But also, as you are reading, you will also find a story, which you haven't read yet, because I'm going to jump to the rest of the group, but you find a story about Koshchei the Deathless, spelled Kosh, like Koshchei. So Kosh, like Kosh, and then Che, like Chei, or Shay, or throw some phlegm on it, depending on the language, exactly how it's meant to be pronounced. But that reminds you of the Koshchei that the old crone mentioned to you, who supposedly holds the clue. And that also clicks with the Arcana check I had you make earlier. I think I'm going to get you to, or Insight check you made earlier. I'm going to get you to make another one.
Like in cash?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just give it to you since you've already made the connection out of character. The name Lord Cash and Koshchei seem probably too much of a coincidence. And you certainly heard that this Lord Cash is some kind of sorcerer who's been around these parts for longer than the Baron's been alive. You don't know about Deathless, but there's some character in one of these stories called Koshchei the Deathless that you definitely want to read about. And with that, I'll jump back to the rest of the group who have finished talking to Albinia. So Lucretia will turn to you, Copernicus, and say, "What next? I have prepared 2 more of these sendings."
I think next it would be best to speak to Don Garveldo or the Maestro, and then I believe that Morgan has someone that she may need to get in touch with.
Yeah, I want to make sure my friend's alive. That she got lost in Ravenfall.
So she's got 2 more of these spell slots. I'm just double checking. So she can only do ascending to a creature with which she is familiar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she can't send. She can't. We can't be the one who's familiar, and she channels through us the sending.
I'm just double checking. I feel like there's some rules around what qualifies as familiar.
Could roll a wild magic to see if they, ever went clubbing together.
Has Tromlin met Lady Pudenza Direlist?
Yes, he has.
So Tromlin could be the one who casts that then, because he's got a 1 or 2 for the day.
And Lucretia does say to you that she is familiar with the Maestro.
Right.
She's never. I don't know that she's met him, but she's like seen him in scryings and in just general, and heard much about him, and she's pretty familiar with him.
And any chance you've met Don Garveldo or Sir Godfrey?
She doesn't know who those people are.
All right. Well then, perhaps you've met the artificer of Ravenfall, the wizard Guzman.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. Then I
But Tromlin
think
has met all of those people.
yeah. Okay. So then I think I'll just have her do a call with the maestro, and after that, it's all on Cromlin. And I may spend a little bit of time trying to figure out if I can like find a way to either facilitate message sending or message spells that use the familiarity of a conduit and or the transfer of the slot through someone who also has the spell
Yeah.
to use one person's spell slot but someone else's casting or familiar. So I'm going to try and do a little
Yeah,
bit
and
of
there are other ways to send messages magically too that you could consider. Yeah. So, what do you want to do first? Do you want to go grab Tromlin, who's in the other room reading a book, or do you want to move on to the maestro?
I think the maestro will be quick. I can do the maestro quickly.
So, what is your message? She will ask again.
I think it's going to be a similar version of what we sent to Albania. But I think we need to appeal to his self-applied sense of genius a little bit more, as opposed to offering help with his current troubles. Because I don't know that he has any troubles right now, but if he feels that his unique genius is needed, I
Well,
believe he will.
you do know that you've already informed him about
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
the necrogog and the fungus, because he was you sent him a letter, like a physical letter,
Right.
with that, in order to talk to him about how to go about inventing some way to spray it around and see if it would affect uh, the fungally infected creatures.
Right. Okay. So then I will definitely yeah. Then since he's kind of already abreast of things, I think I will a development to the devolving situation there and elsewhere, and only his genius applied to these problems can help us connect the threads and combat it effectively.
Okay. Pairs the sending,
We lost
and she.
Randy.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No. So
Thought that was
she
on my
will
end
do
for a
the
second.
sending. She will do the sending, saying what you have said, and then she will convey the response that she gets. She will attempt. She'll probably attempt the scrying, but I'm going to roll to see if it actually works this time, because she hasn't personally met the maestro.
Yeah.
But she does still have a blood connection. No, he has a 17 on the die, so he saves. So she does not. Like, waves her hands, and she's like, and a little angle thing floats to the surface that says, "Try again later." And she is like, nods knowingly. So she will recite the words of your message, which you can hear her do, and then she will hear a response of Maestro, which she will convey to you, and says, um, he is happy to help where he can, but he asks how he can come to you in 2 days. He does not think it's possible from his end.
Um. I will. What would be the best way to communicate to him the details of my teleportation circle?
An image would be the best if you could send him some sort of diagram. And as she says this, there's a loud popping effect and a cloud of stinking yellow smoke, and a shouting, croaky voice says, "I am Dangolf, and Dangolf, wow!" Crash, smash, bang, as Dangolf teleports into the library and falls immediately onto a table of books and lands in a clattering heap.
Dangolf, my friend, so wonderful to have you join us. Um,
Oof. Yes, Angolf means me.
Hey, do I hear a wizard
Got
out
your
there?
message. Yes, I am Dangolf, and Dangolf means me.
yes, means him. Yes, yes, that's
I've got your message. I am ready to assist you in your council of war.
um amazing. We actually sent your invitation a little bit earlier because we could use your unique magical expertise to help gather some of the council members who are further afield. Um, for example, my cousin the Maestro, who must be summoned from Karsh. He's in Karsh. Where is he?
Yeah, he lives in Karsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an advisor to the king, in fact.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Yeah. Um, so I think I'm just going to loop Dangolf into these are the people that we're contacting. They may not all have ways to get here. They may not all be able to get a copy of the info to our teleportation circle without it being delivered to them. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing if you can help out with that.
Okay. Um,
I was a
so
PA for a someone who was advising a king for a little bit. It was cool. There was danger pay, which was interesting,
Ooh,
scary.
cool.
Get
what kind
your
of king are we
bag.
talking? Was this a
Well,
drag king?
well, sometimes, you know, kind of common.
So, um, so Dangolf will say, um, yes, the difficulties of communications. I am very familiar with the. And you of course remember all of the sendings that have been botched in your
He's
history.
not good at this.
I am very familiar with the vagaries of such magics, but transportation is more difficult. The teleport spell, the great power that I have possession of, is something that can only be done to carry. Um, I'm trying to remember if it's one. I'm just double checking. I think it's. I think you can take a target with you, maybe. Oh yeah, you end up to 8 willing creatures. So actually,
That's not bad, actually.
considerable. Yeah. Um, but he says, it might be easier to send word through teleporting something like a letter. Um, uh, there are teleportation circles that can be used if one makes the journey. And you have access to one yourself, I believe, yes?
Yes, but I don't have a wide repertoire of places to teleport to. It's the challenge.
I see, I see. Mm, let me see. He's like kind of like looking over your shoulder at your book.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you have? How many? You've come before to the Wizard's Vale.
Yes, I have the Wizard's Veil and I have Rockspire, and that's it.
So you like
That's all.
reach into your shirt and pull out a bunch of these little plastic envelopes with pasteboard in them, and you start going, okay, uh, I've got the dwarf, I've got Rockspire Library at Rockspire, and I have a duplicate of that, and then I have the Wizard's Veil, but that's all I got.
Yeah.
He like pulls a whole fistful of cards out, and he starts going, well, I could trade you 2 of these.
Oh, one of my
I'll
Rockspires is holographic.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Um, he will say probably rather than immediately start reciting anything. He's not going to remember. He's going to say, "At the Wizard's Veil, we can access many teleportation circles around the world, and I believe I can obtain permission to share them with you. These are great matters of momentous portent."
Agree.
I'm just imagining this is like the elevated version of like old men trading tips and tricks on like avoiding bus fare.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, yeah, actually, if you go to the end of the line
And
and
then
you know
you
it's
get a
between 2 and
transfer.
3, then you can just cross the cross the
Oh no!
boundary.
If you use this symbol on your teleportation circle, you get the Elder's discount.
And then
Yes.
if you wrap duct tape around that, it'll register when you tap, but it won't actually debit your account.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he so you start talking to him about like who are you trying to contact and where are you trying to get to?
So, Don Garveldo. So we need to send the details for my teleportation circle to the maestro, or have someone go pick him up via teleportation. Um, he is located in Karsh. We need to send word and possibly transport to Don Garveldo in Ibiza. Sir Godfrey is magically technical and has all
You have
manner of
no idea
equipment.
where Sir Godfrey is right now, but yeah.
We'll figure that out. Also, that. Um, and
Although I
then,
will say the last time you saw him, he was on Darius's ship.
oh
Right?
yes, we want to reach Darius as well. So perhaps we can get a 2-for-1 there. My cousin Captain Darius Sunshine. We're hoping to reach the Artificer Guzman in Guzman's Tower in Ravenfall. And then we believe that through my Grand Nugget Tromlin, we'll be able to reach a member of Morgan's entertainment company that was formerly operating out of Ravenfall, but may have gone into hiding. We may also want to contact the Chulban tribe north of Ravenfall, and to see if we can reach a particular member of the Thieves Guild in Ravenfall, but whom only Tromlin has met.
So he'll like some of the things you've already realized. He'll kind of talk about like the fact that in order to do sending, for example, you're going to have to talk to specific people, but like that people have to know that have to have familiarity with the individual to contact them. But as you're discussing, he'll sort of go, there are definitely teleportation circles in Ravenfall, but I don't know which ones will be secure. There's certainly teleportation circles in Dwimmerdale. Although I think if you mention Albania, you probably mention that she already has access to one.
Yeah.
There's certainly ones in Karsh that we can make use of. There are circles in Ibiza. I simply don't know whether or not the Don Garfeldo has access to them. Why do you want Don Garfeldo to be involved? He is a merchant. He's less involved in matters of magical menace than with monies and materials.
He
As I
is
randomly
better
decide to alliterate.
connected. He's better connected than he would seem. Um, I think he has the ear of a particularly important and visible hero in those parts. Um,
Mm.
uh, so I simply wish to know if he could exert any of his influence that way.
Well, the other thing is if all of these individuals that you want to reach in Ravenfall can be contacted with one another, a single teleportation circle can let as many through as can uh, come through. Um, where's the circle you have access to? The one you used before, the magical item. If you able, is it enable you to cast the spell?
It allows me to teleport as a ritual to a teleportation circle that I'm familiar with, and I can choose to bring the circle with me or to leave it behind. I believe.
Yeah. Um. Yes. Then, if you can use the circle, I can return to the Wizard's Vale uh, and gather the information I have about other circles that can be used. I'm assuming, I'm just double checking. I don't think it takes a spell slot to cast it when there's already a permanent circle.
I think we said it was a ritual thing.
Yeah.
And even if it did, I'm a warlock, so I just need to eat a granola bar and I'll be fine.
Yeah, it doesn't say that the spell description concerns itself with like teleporting to a permanent teleportation circle using the spell, but it doesn't say anything about going from permanent circle to permanent circle, but that would obviously imply that you can. I think a permanent circle um, doesn't need to. If you have a permanent circle and you're going to another permanent circle, you don't need to use a spell slot. Otherwise, it'd be like really limited because it requires a level. It's a level 5 spell slot. Um, so, um, yes, let me return to the Wizard's Vale, to the White Tower, and see what I can get you permission to use. And if you can find a way to arrange uh, for a single opening of a circle for some group to come through, then you only need a few of these circles. It sounds like the one in Karsh, the one in Ravensfall. Again, the one I know of in Ravenfall is in the Citadel.
That
So
would
I
be
am not certain that is.
dangerous indeed. But perhaps you might check your lore for I don't know if there were any circles that were set up at any point in the Undercity and forgotten about, but the Undercity, I believe, is still held by our Haggle allies.
Nope,
And
we have
we
lost a Randy again. Hopefully he'll be back in a second.
but if it's possible to that there are any forgotten circles in the Undercity, I believe that the Quaggles still hold the area there and could arrange safe passage, both for our allies in the city and those outside the city, such as the Chillwings.
Very well. I will look into this. And
Sorry, I keep crashing.
no worries, man. We didn't even bother to reset the thing because we figured you'd be right back. So with that, you can pull out your teleportation circle and open it, and he'll pop back to the Wizard's Vale. And he will actually, when you do use your circle, he'll copy down the symbols and suggest that you leave the circle open in a place that is useful or is appropriate for transport, and he'll be able to just come back once he's got information, rather than arranging a specific time and place when you have to open the thing. Sound good?
That sounds perfect.
So to just wrap up here, Tromlin is continuing to surreptitiously read up on these folk tales. But in a moment, you're about to come over and ask him about casting some sendings, because you want to do sendings with the folk in Ravenfall that Tromlin has met, but which Lucretia has not. In addition, Oogna, you seem to have discovered that you have some kind of rune spell
I will need
But you
help
don't know
with the
what it does.
magic. Yep. When Dangolf teleported in, Oogna also like swept her arms over all the books to hide them, so nobody could figure out what she was researching. But it's pretty obvious if you're a wizard.
Well, I mean, he wasn't nearby. Like
Yeah.
you're off in
Oh,
a
that's
little
true. I'm in the other room.
alcove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll still like cover them with my arms, like don't no cheating.
But are you gonna ask like once he's gone?
Yeah.
Do you intend
I'll
to bring any of that?
pop
for
my head
yourself?
out of the room and go, Bernie, I need some magic help. Some like
of
ritual stuff. And I'll just
All right.
point out the rune and then hold up my little crayon drawing of it and be like, think if you draw this right and then I hit it, we should do that. And then I just gesture broadly at the book, and there's like a couple paragraphs I've kind of circled.
With crayon.
Oogna,
Yeah.
this is shockingly correct.
Wow.
This is incredibly useful. I think it would have taken hours to pinpoint this as the necessary page and resource.
Research is so hard, Perny. It's so
We can
bad.
use
I would
this.
rather fight a dragon.
You did a very good job. You did a
Thank
very
you.
good job.
I'm real tired now and my head hurts.
The sheet of paper with the rune on it that Oogna has copied, you can now identify, if you so wish.
I will.
And you realize that this is a ritual that would allow you to place that rune onto some kind of dwarven crafted armor or shield.
It could not be a sword, though.
No.
Interesting.
This isn't the rune from the sword. This is the rune that Fetid found on a scrap of
Oh,
parchment that the goblins had dropped.
Is there a clue
Okay.
about what it does?
Not entirely sure, but I guess with an identify spell, I mean, it basically would make it into rune armor,
Oh, cool.
right? Which is the basics of which are simply better armor. Right? Protection.
We can definitely use this. We can use this for you. Perhaps is it something that like I can do, or I should wait till the dwarves get here?
You think? I mean, you look up and you realize that Oogna is wearing a breastplate right now.
She basically always wears it.
That she has said on many occasion was made for her by Sal.
Yeah.
I think we have the perfect candidate to try transferring this. I think the only mistake that you made by pounding a crayon drawing with your hammer was that you're not supposed to slap a hammer with it. You're supposed to slap a piece of armor with it.
Oh.
That's a mistake anyone could make.
Yeah.
But I'm going to line up your crayon drawing with the actual piece of spellcraft so that they go on together.
Okay.
And
I made
will
the
try to
template.
enchant.
You will attempt the ritual.
Yeah, and I'll get a help action with this from someone magically inclined, if I may.
Oh yeah, guidance for sure.
I will help
Sure.
if Dwarven is needed, I guess.
Not really.
Cool.
It is a rune magic. Actually, you know what? I think it would be very appropriate if it was written, if some of the magical instructions are written in Dwarvish.
Yeah.
And
I will
Oogna
aid.
translate.
I can translate.
So go ahead, make me an Arcana check with the guidance D4 bonus
Okay.
and
Am I-
advantage from all this help.
Yeah.
Okay. 25.
Ooh.
Got a 4 on the guidance, so that was a clutch guidance.
Nice. You achieve another active rune magic.
What?
And there is a little peal of thunder as when your hand slaps the rune onto the breastplate, and when you take it away, the parchment actually burns away in the center where the rune is inscribed, and the rune is now engraved, set like it was originally made in the armor into the armor plate, much like the rune that went onto the hammer was. And Yeah, Oogna, you now have rune armor.
Wow.
So that gives you additional armor class bonus.
That's very nice. I also, if it's just family out there, I will come running out with, like, just the biggest grin on my face. I'm like, guys, guys, guys! I did magic! I did it!
She really did.
Morgan's polishing some belts like, hell yeah.
And yeah, we'll leave it there. And next time we'll just briefly discuss who all, like, we'll just basically gloss over, I think, over the next couple days of sending word
And
to
gathering.
all the people that you're looking at in Ravenfall
Mhm.
to see if who you can get together there. And then we'll be moving on to the whatever other research you do. Now that you've given me some prioritized stuff, Peter, and the council.
The council.
The
The
Council of Sunshine.
Rond. It's that whole chapter. All right.
Morgan's really excited to be making like arrangements with Tromlin. Like he's picking out the menu. I'm trying to like find a way to organize everyone staying there,
Nice.
make
Yep.
things more comfortable.
Desperately trying to clean the dining room, but nothing works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blood stain that always creeps back into the wood.
Yep.
Yep.
That might just
You-
have to
you
be
like-
illusionary.
You clean out all the cobwebs in the corners, but they just reappear within an hour.
It's so funny. I've been playing Ale and Tail Tavern
Ooh.
Simulator, I think it's
Nice.
called. It's just really cute. You're just adventurers that own a tavern, and then people come by, and there are literal cobwebs that just like randomly appear that you have to go and clean.
Cute.
Yeah.
You're like trying to dust off Sextus, who keeps just still sitting at the head of the table, but like the dust never stops. Like you just keep
Mhm.
just like there's always dust. What am I rolling, Alina?
Roll me a d10.
And I will remind the audience that if you subscribe to the channel, you are entered into the roll every week, a draw, or every game, a draw for art. I have rolled a 9.
9 is Metageeky.
Yay, Metageeky! Who is not currently in the chat, but I'm sure we can
Yeah.
reach out. So Metageeky will get an art from one of
Is
our
it? Oh, yeah.
artists. One art. So
Ooh,
hooray,
there we go.
Metageeky. Anybody got any shout outs for the audience?
Not
I
really,
believe.
Just,
Oh, go ahead.
just that we all love you. We're glad to spend time with you. We're gonna be here for you, making crazy, silly stories.
Hanging
Yeah.
out with our friends.
Yeah.
If you want more actual play, I will be on Fairy Tale Friday over at Altered Echo Archives. I'm going to be playing my dumbass rocker who gets sucked into fairyland occasionally and hates every moment of it. So come check us out there. Put the link in the chat.
Nice.
But that'll be Friday at 5 PST, 8 EST. There we go. There's a link.
And I was going to do a poll, but I forgot. Although I
Oh,
can now
yeah.
reveal, I'll do it next time. I can now reveal that the rune armor was selected by the chat.
Ooh, thank you,
A
chat.
couple games ago.
Ooh, I like armor.
The rune, I let the chat decide what the rune that Fetid found was capable of doing.
Ooh.
And the winner of the poll was create rune armor.
Thank you, chat.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be in a lot of heavy combats. So that will
Mhm.
be-
I think
Yeah.
Well, just because you fought a giant tentacle monster, what? Think that
Yeah,
that's?
allowing me to tank harder is probably good.
I think
I don't
Morgan's
think that could happen
offering
again. Do you?
Morgan's offering in the downtime to do like a ceremonial clean and upkeep of everyone's armor.
Nice.
Just putting like little blessings and prayers into like polishing leather, cleaning and stitching, upkeep of that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, folks.
Thanks for joining us.
Probably be 2 weeks, so I'm guessing the 4th is going to be.
Probably.
And we can February the 4th be with you.
No.
Whatever. No?
Mm-mm.
Doesn't
No.
work? I
All right,
tried.
we're leaving. Goodbye.
Well.
Good night.
Later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.